Hello, my name is Samantha and welcome to the fourth lesson in the Girls in STEM Java curriculum. Last lesson, we talked about strings and some ways that we can manipulate them. Today, we'll be talking about scanners and user input. I'd like to introduce Lucy, who will be the instructor for today's lesson.
Hello and welcome to our fourth Girls in STEM lesson. First, we'll do a few warm-up problems to review strings and other variables. Then we'll talk about scanners, which are used to read inputs for users. At the end, we'll do some practice. Let's get started. So today we have two warm-ups. Our first problem asks us to create two variables named A and B and find the maximum value of the two. Our second problem asks us to create two strings, at least 3 characters long. Then we need to check if the last 3 characters of the string are the same. If they are, then the problem should print true. If they're not, then the problem should print false. If you want some review with string methods, check out our previous video in the description below. Pause the video here, and when you're done, resume the video to go over the answers. Here's the key for the first question. We made two integers, a and b, and had them store the values 4 and 7. Then we can write a print statement that uses the math function max. The max function is short for maximum and returns the variable with the greatest value. In our example, it will print maximum equals 7 since b is greater than a. Now here's the key for the second question. We made two strings, stir1 and stir2, and had them store the values potato and tomato. These strings can be set to any word, as long as they are longer than 3 letters long. Then we create two integers that will store their length using the length method. To get the last 3 letters of each string, we use the substring method. The substring method lets us cut or take the portion of the string we're manipulating. We pass the substring method the length of the string, then subtract 3. To compare the strings, we use the equals method. When the code is run, it should print, they share the same last 3 characters. Now we'll be introducing scanners, which is our topic for today. A scanner takes the inputs from the user through the console. A scanner will typically first print a question or ask the user to enter some information, and then the scanner will read the information and save it to a variable so that the user's input can be later referenced. To use a scanner, we need to first import the scanner so the computer knows we will be using it. Note that the import should be outside of your class and is typically the first line of your program if you import anything. Then we create an instance of the scanner class and store it as a variable to reference it. We do so by scanner followed by the scanner name. In this case, we've used myScanner and new scanner systems in. Now we'll take a look at an example. We will explain the code in greater detail on the next slide, but first take a look at the code. What do you think each line of code does? You can pause the video here and run the code in Replit. The first line in our program, import Java util scanner, imports the scanner. Note that the import is outside of the main class. Then the line scanner, myScanner equals new scanner system in, creates an instance of the scanner called myScanner, which we can use methods with. Next, a question, how old are you, gets printed to the console to prompt the user to input a response. Next, we call the nextInt method and store the next integer value of the user's input as a variable called age. Finally, the computer uses the variable age to print a statement. Here is a list of a few scanner functions in Java. You can see that the corresponding syntax for the different functions, next, nextLine, nextInt, and nextDouble. All of these methods are used to read inputs from the user, but each method will read in a different variable type. Next will read the next word of the input or until the next space. Next line will read the next multi-word string from the user. Both of these functions output to string variables. Next int will read the next integer value from the user. Likewise, next double will read the next double variable from the user. Here are more scanner functions in Java. These methods check if there is more input left to read and return a Boolean value of true or false. hasNext will check if there are more strings. hasNextInt will check if there are more integers. hasNextDouble will check if there are more doubles. These methods do not store the values it reads in. They only check if there is more input. These can be useful with loops, which we'll talk about in a later lesson. Now, let's do some practice with scanners. We have 4 questions for today. If you'd like, you can look at the problems all at once in the problem sheet in the description below. Otherwise, we'll work through them one by one. Let's make a new REPL for this problem. Our first practice problem asks us to use a scanner to ask the user what their favorite color is. When the user responds, we'll print out this statement, "Whoa, I love blank too," with the blank being the color they told us. Remember to import and make an instance of the scanner. If you don't remember how to do this, look back at the scanner examples earlier in this presentation. Pause the video now and resume the video to go over the answer. Here's the key. First, to use scanner, we need to import it at the top of the file. Then, inside the main method, we'll make an instance of the scanner with scanner. myScanner equals new scanner system in. Then we'll print out a message for the user so they know what we want them to enter. Once the user responds, we'll store their response using the next method, since the next method stores one word at a time. Finally, we'll respond to the user by saying that we love the same color. Now, let's add on to the work we did for practice 1. We'll again ask the user what their favorite color is. If the user has the same color as you, print that it's your favorite color too. If the user has a different favorite color than you, print that the user's color isn't your favorite color. Pause the video now and resume the video to go over the answer. If you're stuck, look back at the string methods we learned in last week's lesson. Here's the key. The first part of practice 2 is the same as practice 1. We import and create an instance of the scanner and ask the user for their favorite color. Then, to check if our color is the same as our favorite color, we use the scanner method .equals to compare the 2 strings. This will be inside of an if statement condition. We use the dot to lowercase method to make sure that if a user adds a few capital letters to their input, then we'll still get the right response. We use purple as our favorite color, but you can replace it with your own favorite color. Let's move on. This question asks us to ask the user to input their name, age, school, and grade level. Then we'll print out these values. Pause the video now and resume the video to go over the answer. Here's the key. Like the previous problems, we start by importing the scanner at the top of the file. Then we create an instance of it in the main method. Then we'll print out a message to ask the user what their name is and store it as a string. We'll use a similar format to ask the user their age, school, and grade level. For age and grade level, we will use integers since both values are numbers, but you can store them as strings if you want to. Finally, we'll print out the information with the print statements and the correct variables. This is our 4th and final practice problem. This program will tell the users what letter grade they received in math based on the percentage they got in the class. For example, if somebody got a 95, then we'll print out A. In the sample output, we see that the user has input an 85%, so we printed a B. Pause the video now and resume the video when you're ready to go over the answer. Here's the key. Like the previous problems, we start by importing the scanner at the top of the file. Then we create an instance of it in the main method. Then we'll print out a message to ask the user what grade they got in math. We'll store this value, user grade, as a double, but you can store it as a float if you want to. Then we have an if statement and an else statement to check if the user's grade is within a certain range. If the grade is greater than or equal to 90 and less than or equal to 100, then we'll print grade equals A. If the grade is greater than or equal to 80 and less than 90, we'll print grade equals B, and so on for C, D, and F. If the number the user provides is not within the range 0 and 100, then we'll ask the user to enter a grade between that range.
Hi, I'm Alexis. Thank you so much for watching and congrats on completing your 4th Girls in STEM lesson. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to reach out to us at our email ccagirlswhocode@gmail.com or comment down below.
I really want to thank the following on the production team for all their hard work that went into this lesson. All of the slides and videos in this series are available on our website as well as the description below. I hope you'll join us again in our next lesson on for and while loops.